joy. The joy of the Lord in my heart. I need to make an exchange. Before my day even start, let your light shine all through my life. My heart is open and I am ready to receive your joy.
Welcome to another episode of the Moments of Joy podcast. MVPs, thank you so much for joining us on another amazing episode. This week, we're going to talk about choosing joy. Of course, because this is the Moments of Joy podcast. I want to tell you a little story before we get started. You know, Joy is my actual legal middle name. My mom named me Joy because she had a terrible birth before me. Her first pregnancy nearly killed her. After the birth, she didn't even want to have children. My sister almost died. The umbilical cord was wrapped around her head. My mom was ripped from the front to the back, so she had like over 50 staples and stitches. And so who wants to have a kid after that? And then I was born. She dreaded actually having me. But when the labor came, I came out with one push. She describes me as making the sound and popping out. And immediately the sun began to shine through the room and she called me Joy, Camille Joy. And so that kind of thing has stuck with me my whole life. Joy is actually who I am. And so no matter what I have gone through in life, joy is on the inside of me. And although your name might not be Joy, joy is on the inside of you too, because the joy of the Lord is our strength and lives inside of us. So recently, one of my good friends, she called me and she was like, Camille, you're always talking about choosing joy. I need you to give us a formula on choosing joy. Like, everything's going wrong today. I went to brunch and we couldn't get in. I'm annoyed with everything going on today. So I need to know, how do I choose joy now? So I was like, okay, I definitely will work on that. So after just spending some time thinking and going throughout my days and taking note of how I choose joy, I came up with 3 points for you guys. And you guys know I take it very seriously, so I've written down what I'm going to say. And so first, I want to point out to you the difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is a feeling, it's an emotion, it's a feeling and a show of happy emotion, joyful emotion, of pleasure and contentment, right? But joy, on the other hand, is happiness that is not based on a circumstance. What does that mean? That means even when things are going wrong, joy can still be inside of me. That means I can still choose joy despite my circumstance. So, the first point, I learned to choose joy along the way of my life. I learned to choose joy after being in an abusive relationship that I was in for 5 years. Leaving that forced me to choose joy. I learned to choose joy after then losing 3 of my children in a custody battle. It was either I was going to choose joy or I was going to die by myself, kill myself. So I learned that I needed to choose joy. Having a baby who was diagnosed with a heart disease in my belly and then watching him have to have surgery after surgery caused me to choose joy. Do you hear me? I was given news of my child then having a diagnosis of autism. I needed to choose joy. I learned to choose joy because either I was going to allow the weapons that the enemy threw at me to overtake me in all of these negative emotions, or I was going to grab a hold of them and I was going to choose joy. So what did I do? I decided that I was going to choose joy. And joy has literally followed me all of my life. And so I have 3 nuggets for you guys. Number 1. Before you get your physical body up out of the bed, while you're still laying down in the morning, you're going to give thanks to the Lord, for he is good and his mercy endureth forever. God, I thank you for waking me up this morning. God, I thank you that I have a job to go to. For me, God, I thank you that you've given me a business to run. I thank you that I didn't get an emergency call in the middle of the night and somebody's passed away. I thank you, God, that I have food in the refrigerator. You list what you want to list, but you wake up and you give thanks to the Lord before your feet hit the ground. That's number 1. Number 2, throughout your day, when negative emotions are thrown at you and weapons are thrown at you and you have every right to feel bad, grab a hold of those emotions and you make a public declaration that today I choose joy. No matter what, today I choose joy. Because I found that saying it, even when you don't feel or believe it, it helps you to begin to let it seep in and soak in, and you begin to believe it. Number 3, purposefully do things that bring you joy. For me, first thing when I wake up in the morning, coffee brings me joy. I recently started drinking a lot of teas. Tea has been my self-care. It brings me so much joy to brew a beautiful pot of tea. So that's for me. I also, many people, this is pumpkin season time. Pumpkin anything will brighten up your day. Pumpkin latte, pumpkin pie, pumpkin crumble, pumpkin candles if you're into candles, anything. Pumpkin flavor will definitely brighten up your day. For me, I love eating seafood. That's my ultimate favorite thing, favorite meal. And so that's another thing that I do to bring joy. Eat something good. What is your favorite? Do you like steak? Do you like spaghetti? Whatever it is, you make your favorite meal, and that will help you to choose joy. Hug the ones you love. Hugging is a beautiful emotion, a beautiful action that brings on positive emotion. So hug the ones you love. For me, another one is looking at palm trees. I live here in Texas, in Houston, and there's palm trees everywhere. Looking out the window just simply brings me joy. Don't you dare let the enemy steal your joy. Whatever you have to do, you choose joy, because we always have the option. We don't have to accept the negative emotions that the enemy throws our way at all whatsoever, because his desire is to steal, kill, and destroy everything you have and everything about you. So you have to engage in this fight. You have to engage in this war. So knowing that God has already given us victory, knowing that he's dispatched angels on your behalf, it helps you. It makes the load a lot easier. And it helps you to remember that I don't have to take this. I can choose joy. All right, guys. I love you. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to just subscribe and download to this channel. And leave us a review. Reviews actually help us out a lot. And what it does is help people like you that are watching and listening to find us. They may not have seen us on social media, but by you sharing, it helps people to find us. And listeners that are listening, we're on Roku TV now. So turn on your TV and check us out. Thanks, guys, for joining us for another episode of the Moments of Joy podcast. See you soon. Bye-bye.